Oh, it's a sad day here at This Week in Film.
Lots of tears.
So many tears. Charlie.
Doesn't sound sincere at
Charlie,
all.
our dear Charlie.
My crocodile tears.
Ray, take this nap or this hanky. Let me dab them away. It's Charlie's last week on This Week in Film.
You don't
For
have
like 2 weeks, then he'll show up again.
Yeah, I know where you guys film this thing, so
It's in our studio
you could just
Right.
pop in.
at This Week in Film headquarters.
Just little pop-ins. You never know.
Well, they'll be welcome. Pop-ins.
So welcome to week 32, I think, of This Week in Film.
Wow, 32, huh?
It's the weekly podcast where we all get together for the last time with Charlie to talk about the movies we've seen over the past week and discuss them, which is what talk about means. I'm Nick Panunto, joined as always by Ray Radaminki.
Yes.
And as we said, for the last regular time, for now, Charlie Chester.
Nothing's permanent.
You'll be
as we
back
know.
in a very short period of time, I suppose. Right off the bat, Ray,
I watched Hell or High Water this week,
Nice.
which is a new film, currently in theaters, directed by David Mackenzie, and written by Taylor Sheridan, who also wrote Sicario, which was another film that I talked about
That's right, yeah.
a couple weeks ago.
I still have
Alright.
to watch that. I haven't gotten around to that yet.
Yeah, starring Chris Pine, Ben Foster, and Jeff Bridges.
You got this all memorized?
Yeah.
Off the top of your head?
Yeah, I mean, I just saw the movie yesterday.
Oh, okay. All right. Just making sure.
It's first day stuff here.
Yeah.
All right, so anyway, so the movie, like I said, stars Chris Pine, Ben Foster. They play brothers. Chris Pine is a down-and-out guy. He's divorced. He hasn't seen his kids in about a year. His mother just passed away, and the family owned a farm. And the farm is way late on all its bills, mortgage. The bank is about to be foreclosed, and the bank is about to take the farm away from them.
Banks.
Always a bag.
His brother Ben Foster has just gotten out of prison. He's like the black sheep of the family. He's criminal, kind of crazy. I mean, Ben Foster plays this character in every movie that he's in, like the crazy, like
I love me some Ben Foster.
can
though.
snap at
Yeah,
any moment.
This is the same dude from The Mechanic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
He looks... now, see, you said you watched the movie earlier, and so I went and watched the trailer, because I realized that I had never seen the trailer.
Right.
He looks terrible. He looks just terrible.
He definitely gained some weight.
Did he?
Yeah, his
All in
face.
all in his face.
Yeah, his face is just like
How do you-
blown up.
How do you isolate
Oh,
just getting fat in the face?
I've mastered this technique.
And I don't know if it was like for the movie, because he's never looked like this before.
No, he was like...
And there's no reason for him to be fat in the movie. Like there's no like reason for his character to be heavy set.
He just brandoed it and just showed
Yeah.
up fat.
just looked like they kept inflating him.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah. So he, like I said, he plays like the black sheep of the family. So Chris Pine needs to. He's backed up on child support too to his ex-wife, and they need to pay these bills off because what the bank doesn't know is that they're sitting on oil on their farm. And if they can pay off their debt and don't lose the farm, they can sell the land to the oil company and make a shit ton of money.
Right.
But the bills are due. It's been like, years and years going on, but the bills are due within like a week and they need the money now. So what they decide to do is they decide to rob branches of the bank that they owe money to. And then pay the bank back with the bank's money. So that's the basic premise of the film. Jeff Bridges plays a Texas Ranger who's about to retire. This is like his last case per se.
And him and Ryan Reynolds hunt ghosts.
Correct. And him and his partner, who's a Native American guy, they are hunting Chris Pine and Ben Foster, and that's the basic premise of the movie. Chris Pine is great in the role of just like the down and out guy who never been arrested, never done anything bad in his life, but it's just like he's got no options now. His back's against the wall. He doesn't want to ask his brother to do this thing because he knows his brother's crazy and his brother's a criminal and his brother's just only going to get them into more trouble. But
he's a loose cannon.
He's a loose cannon, but his brother's a criminal and he knows what to do in the criminal world. So he asks him for his help. Jeff Bridges, like I said, is like a down and out Texas Ranger on his way out, and the dynamic between him and his partner is great because it's kind of racist, or not kind of racist, it is racist. His partner's Native American, and Jeff Bridges spends the entire movie just making fun of this guy for being Native American. And it's funny. I guess it wouldn't be funny if you're a Native American, but it's funny to see them interact, and they're like the comedic relief of the whole movie because they're just like constantly butting heads and just like constantly making fun of each other. The Native American guy is making fun of Jeff Bridges for being old. Jeff Bridges is making fun of him for not knowing, what's going on, being stupid, being Native American, that whole sort of thing.
But they get along.
But yeah, they get along.
That's what it's all about.
A lot like Sicario, like I said, the same writer. The movie has a lot of like hidden messages in it. One about like the banks and how the banks are, taking everybody's money and forcing all these people to lose their land in Texas. And then another theme in the movie is how, like I said, Jeff Bridges' partner is Native American, how Native Americans are still treated like unfairly down in that area of the country. They used to own all this land way back in the day, and now none of the land's theirs. It was all taken from them. But then at the same time, like this guy points out at some time, he's like, your ancestors stole the land from my ancestors, but now the banks are taking your land away. He's like, so it's kind of like you guys deserve this almost. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the whole point of the movie is like to stick it to the banks, and these guys are stealing the money to stick it to the banks. What their plan is they only go for the cash drawers and only go for low denomination bills to not cause up much of a stir. I mean, after they rob like 3 or 4 banks, though, the stir gets caught up with them. But what they do is they take them to casino. They take the money to casinos and cash them in for chips, gamble a little bit, not much, and then cash the chips in, basically laundering their money that way, so the money's untraceable.
Sure.
So that's like the whole plan of the movie. And then like I said, Jeff Bridges is hunting them, and then you can go from there. I don't want to ruin it for everybody, but where it goes. But that's basically the premise of the movie. But yeah, I thought it was great. I'm a sucker for like bank robber movies. Like my favorite movie of all time is Heat.
Great movie.
I love The Town. I love Dog Day Afternoon. Like all those movies are in my wheelhouse. So this was right in my wheelhouse. Just like there's a couple scenes. I think like 3 or 4 scenes of them robbing these banks in different ways and getting into trouble in different ways. Another thing that comes up a lot is in Texas, you have license to carry concealed weapons. So they encounter a lot of just civilians that are just carrying guns in the banks that they're robbing.
Right. That
they encounter, they have to deal with and stuff. So that's another like theme of the movie that kind of gets thrown out there.
Like in a comedic way, or is
no, in like a serious way. Like a lot of times, like after the bank gets robbed, like you see Jeff Bridges interviewing somebody, and the guy will be like, "Yeah, I shot him with my gun," or like, "Me and a couple of my friends are going to go, like we saw their car. Me and a couple of my friends are going to go, try to find these guys,
wrangle up a posse."
Right, take it upon themselves to do it. One cool thing that they do is too, though, every time they rob a bank, they use a different car, and every time they get done robbing a bank, they bury the car in their at their farm with like a bulldozer. So as not to get traced.
Sure.
So yeah, they go about it in a smart way, and it's pretty cool to see like the smart way they go about robbing these banks and like not getting caught, and using this money, I guess, for good. I mean, they're trying to. What Chris Pine is basically trying to do is give the farm to his kids, and the kids will inherit all the money from the oil. He doesn't really care about himself. He just wants to make sure that they're set up for life, because he really feels like he hasn't been that good of a father, because he doesn't see them very often. Right. His ex-wife hates him for whatever reason. They don't really explain it. But yeah, it's basically kind of like a Robin Hood type of deal. They're stealing from the rich to give to the poor, basically. So
now is the bank mean Like, is the bank going out of their way to screw Chris Pine's family?
I mean, you get that impression. Like a lot of stuff is kind of like set up before the movie starts. Like, this is what's happening. So yeah, you get the impression that they're trying to screw them, and you get the impression that a lot of the other people around the area are kind of happy that these guys are doing this. They're like, because they've been screwed over by the bank as well.
Right.
So a lot of the people they interview after they get robbed are like, yeah, good for these guys. They should be screwing this bank over. Like, they took my money too. Blah blah. So yeah, you get the impression that they were screwing them over for sure.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I watched. Like I said, I watched the trailer today. It looks great. I'd love to watch it.
But yeah, the interaction, like I said, the interaction between Jeff Bridges and his partner are very good. The interaction between Ben Foster and Chris Pine is really good. Like I said, Ben Foster plays, the same character he's always played. And Jeff Bridges plays like the old curmudgeon now, like really good. What was the movie?
Crazy Heart.
Crazy Heart. And then the other one with the Coen Brothers movie.
Big Lebowski?
No, the remake.
True Grit.
True Grit.
Yeah. I forget about that movie.
Yeah, he plays that.
Dirty old curmudgeon.
Right, dirty old curmudgeon, great. Another thing too that I loved, which kind of Coen Brothers-esque, is like all like this like the small role, like the character actor people that they encounter, like in like diners and like in the bank, like when they're robbing a bank, like the old time people, like kind of compared to like in No Country for Old Men, like the guy that works at the gas station that he flips a penny for.
You have to choose.
Right, that guy, and then the one woman that works in like the trailer park that they interview, and he's like, we can't give out no information on anybody, like that kind of lady. So they encounter a woman at a restaurant like that. They encounter one of the bank tellers like that. Just like funny like Texas, kind of feels like they just pull people off the street that like actually are from Texas.
No throwaway roles,
right,
kind of thing, but
right,
authentic.
Yeah. So yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, that was cool. And actually, the movie takes place in Texas, but I found out today that it was filmed entirely in New Mexico. But I guess that was for money purposes.
Yeah, sounds like it. Yeah.
But no, it was good. I definitely recommend it. It's a fun movie. I think it's got like 98% right now on Rotten Tomatoes, which is pretty ridiculous.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Well, Charlie, what did you see this week?
Well, I wanted to go back and watch something that I was super excited about when I was a teenager that came out. Tell
us about Emmanuel.
All right, I'm going to start describing the movie, and then you guys chime in and tell me what movie it is. How about that?
Okay, sure.
All right, we'll play that game. All right, so it's 12th century, starts out, and there is this evil creature that's menacing this palace, and so one of the consultants of the Sultan, he creates a gem, and they trick the creature into going into the gem, and then they bury it in a statue. Like they create a statue and they put in the statue. Now you flash forward to modern times, and the statue is being brought to like a private collector, and it breaks open, and the jewel comes out.
Is this the Golden Child?
No.
It's the other one.
What's the other one?
Oh. No, I can't remember.
Silver Child?
So the knife
is more of a bronze.
A knife?
Nope.
Is it a magic knife though, or something like that?
No magic knife. No.
But it's the Eddie Murphy movie.
Nope.
It's not.
Magic
No.
Mike?
So this gem gets discovered, and it's brought to a appraiser, and they're inspecting it, and then they accidentally unleash the creature inside, and the creature tells them to make 3 wishes. Come on, you got to know what it is now at this point.
Leprechaun?
No.
Warlock?
No. Nope.
Aladdin?
Willow?
It's an evil creature.
Evil creature.
It was starring Robert Englund, and Tony Todd. 1997.
Freddy's Dead.
No. Wishmaster.
Oh,
Remember
I
that
have
movie?
never seen.
You never saw Wishmaster?
No, or
I
any
was
of its 9
so
sequels.
excited about that movie when it came out. I don't know why. It was like during the time of like slasher flicks, Scream and all that stuff.
Wishmaster was 97.
Yeah, it was 97.
Whoa, that's so late.
Yeah. It's like it's touted as like a true creature feature, like they wanted to make their own, like new sequel, like spawning sort of creature. You know what I mean? And they did. They successfully had like I think 3 Wishmaster movies. But so the premise is basically
I feel like that game was a real disappointment.
the Wishmaster game.
The one we just played where we couldn't guess the
Yeah,
game.
I was
He,
expecting you
basically
guys
explain
to
the
know
entire
it.
movie, and we
Yeah.
were like, all right, we
Yeah,
still don't know.
yeah, come on, guys! Like I expected, Nick, of you all people, I would have.
No,
thought you
I
would've
never
seen
got
that
around
movie.
to the Wishmaster.
Oh
yeah.
man! All right, well, let me sell it to you. So you
I
go
saw the
see-
Page Master.
with Macaulay Culkin.
Macaulay Culkin, like
Yeah.
a half
I
cartoon.
thought that was the Noah Wiley.
No, that was the librarian,
Fucking
which is-
Noah Wiley.
which is a funny
That clown.
joke with my friend Matt.
I like.
I'm not even sure. I really love Pirates of the Silicon Valley. If you've never seen that movie,
No.
you should check it out. It's
Who does he play?
Steve Jobs. It's a great movie.
And Noah Wiley's in it.
Yeah,
I was a big ER.
it's
fan
about
when I was younger.
him and Bill Gates' relationship. It was a made for TV movie, but it was excellent.
I don't know,
It's
dude.
an excellent movie.
Freaking Noah Wiley.
Why
I
are we
don't believe
talking
it.
about Noah Wiley right now? I brought him up. I'm sorry.
He
Yeah.
was in something that I just watched recently. What did I
The
just
Librarian Part 7.
Yeah.
watch? Yeah.
Because they just keep making those
I thought
movies.
that was a TV show.
What did I watch
It
last?
was they're like made for TV movies.
All right, Charlie, Wishmaster.
So Wishmaster, basically this genie, he's trying to trick you into making wishes. You don't even realize you're making a wish. He'll come up to you and he'll be like, "Are you having a bad day? Do you want to have a better day?" "Yes, I want to have a better day." He's like, "Granted," and then like it makes him stronger. But every thing that he grants is like monkey's paw sort of thing, where it's always like
Like
a twisted
twisted,
version
yeah.
of it. And he's going around just like murdering people around the city of I think it's Cleveland.
Classic Cleveland.
Oh yeah, poor Cleveland.
They just can't win, except at basketball.
So basically, they discover that this freaking genie's out there like killing people, and of course they find like an old wizened woman that just knows exactly what's going on, is able to explain the entire plot to the audience. Like in every horror movie or even sci-fi movie, I call it the Doc Brown.
Lady
Like,
Exposition.
yeah. Where like, they are basically there to explain to you the science behind it or what's happening. So of course she's got an old book that's got all the rules that you have to follow and whatnot. So like she, they outline it like what they have to do in order to trick the genie. I don't know. The effects in it were actually pretty good. I was actually like, I watch it again saying like, I am going to just tear this movie apart. And yes, it's cheesy and like it's not great in a lot of ways, but the effects in it are actually pretty good, and like some of it's actually like so campy it's fun. Like the guy who plays the genie just has like a really creepy way of talking, and my boy Tony Todd's in it, Candyman. I love that dude.
Love that guy.
Yeah.
I have never seen Candyman
Dude,
either.
what is happening right now?
I know.
What
I've
is
seen
going
Candyman.
on?
I can give you that.
So, I've been a big fan of Tony Todd's ever since back in the day. My buddy went to a Chiller, which is like a Comic-Con for horror movies. A Chiller Fest, I think it's called. And Tony Todd,
Don't make up phrases.
it was called Chiller. And Tony Todd was there signing autographs. And I guess there was a bar in the hotel that this was happening at. And my buddies went to the bar, and Tony Todd's just sitting at the bar. And they're like, "Oh, let's can we buy you a drink, Tony? Like, it'd be awesome to be able to hang out with Candyman." He's like, "Yeah, of course." So like, one beer turned into like 10, and to the point that like Tony Todd was racking up a bill on their dollar. Like, he was just ordering drinks. He's like, no, my boys got it. My boys got it.
Yeah.
And so they got like, all right, cool. I guess it was like, we'll chalk it up to a fun experience. They went to another chiller like a few months later, and Tony Todd was there and like clung on to him. He's like, wow, let's go hit the bar up. And they're like, no, I think we're good. But yeah, so Tony Todd. So
Absolutely ridiculous story.
so if you ever get a chance to drink with Tony Todd, expect to pay somebody because he's going to make you pay for it. So
Look on Ray's face just now is great.
So Wishmaster. So yeah, it's like fun, campy, cheesy, totally predictable in a million different ways, but if you're like a big fan of like, creature feature sort of like movies in that sense, it's fun. It's worth checking out, I would say.
Yeah, I'm looking at the
Cover art's like
cover art
who's like this, right?
Yeah, and I do remember like
With his arms out and
just
No?
the face. I do remember
Maybe
seeing
I'm
this
thinking
like in
of a
the
different movie.
video store when I was a kid and wanting to rent it, and then my mom being like, "No, you're not allowed to,"
No,
type of deal.
it's gonna give you nightmares.
But yeah, I've never seen it, so I need to go back and watch it.
we had it at our Blockbuster. I don't know why me and my buddy would watch all kinds of horror movies, and I don't know why we never got to that. Maybe it's because we didn't have Wishmaster 1.
Right.
That was one of our things. Like, you can't just jump in.
Yeah, I
part
totally
2.
agree with that.
Yeah. No, well, now you have something to go back to. Wishmaster. I think Wes Craven produced it.
Yeah, Robert Kurtzman directed.
Yeah, Robert Kurtzman is like a special effects guru in Hollywood. He's responsible for like a lot of the practical effects that like we've come to love in a lot of movies. And this is one of the few movies that he directed. And I feel like this was like he's buddies, I think, with Tappert, like those guys that work with Sam Raimi, that
Okay.
crew. Because Sam Raimi's brother is in this, and it's got that feel, like that Xena warrior princess, like Hercules in certain ways. Like, it's a meld of like all these things.
Epic, but made for television.
Yeah, in a lot of ways. But yeah, no, it's a fun watch. It's definitely just like, don't pay for it at night. Just like, if you got nothing better to watch it. But you might be pleasantly surprised.
Tony Todd's character's name is Johnny Valentine.
And he makes sure you know his name. He's like, my name's Johnny Valentine. He says it. He's got like 5 lines in the whole thing, and that's one of them.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
All right. Well, this week for Charlie's last show, I decided to go back to last year or so when you were recommending a movie.
Oh.
So I went back. We talked about it on one of our very first episodes.
31 weeks ago.
But I finally saw Bone Tomahawk.
Oh my God.
Yes. We've been waiting to talk about it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's like, it's fresh again. It's all new.
Well, when we talked about it our first episodes, when we talked about 9 movies at a time in a 10-minute
Yeah,
period.
I saw Bone Tomahawk. It was awesome.
It was
Next.
awesome. You should watch it. And it was true. It was great.
Yeah, right?
Bone Tomahawk is terrific. It's got a cast of maybe 7 people. It's got Kurt Russell, Matthew Fox, Patrick Wilson, and the old corrupt cop from Witness. It plays the old man.
Oh, yeah.
And
That's really bringing it all back here.
yeah, this is an all-encompassing movie. And basically, Patrick Wilson's wife and Kurt Russell's deputy, Kurt Russell plays the sheriff, they get kidnapped by a tribe of cannibalistic, incestuous, and their word, troglodyte,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, troglodyte. Yeah.
Native Americans.
They're like monsters, right?
They're
they're
monsters.
big,
Yeah,
they're huge.
They're
Right.
huge. They have like this thing implanted in their throat, which makes like this terrifying scream sound, which is how they communicate with each other. And I'd say 85% of the movie is basically Patrick Wilson trying to walk across the desert with a broken leg, trying to keep up with Kurt Russell and Matthew Fox.
Who's a huge dick in this movie.
He is. I feel like Matthew Fox is my least favorite part of the movie. I feel like I think he did as well as he could, but I just didn't care for Matthew Fox. His delivery
his last few moments are great, though.
He has good moments throughout, but yeah, I think it's just his delivery and the lines are so stilted. But Kurt Russell is great. The old man he's like a kind of confused old man. Who was like a medic in the Civil War, and he's just, okay, we're gonna have to, I guess, walk across the door. Our horses are gone. What are we gonna do? And scene.
That guy's name. He's in everything.
Is that the guy from? Is that the same guy from? Shit, no, I'm not gonna.
He's the dad in 6 Feet Under that dies.
No way. That's the same dude.
He's the guy from Let Me In.
Oh,
yes,
man.
Right. Wait. Oh, Richard Jenkins.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
he's in
wow.
Step Brothers too.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, dude, he's great.
Did they put all that can't be this. Did they put all kinds of old man makeup on him?
I mean, he is an older gentleman.
I mean, Step Brothers wasn't 20 years ago. I mean, Step Brothers just looks like an.
When you go to Sephora, is there a section for old man makeup?
Well, you see in the news recently, some guy was like, putting makeup on and making it seem like he was an old man to like get by to be. I don't even know why he was doing it.
I was talking to my dad about Bone because I was watching the movie and I texted my dad and said, "You got to watch this movie. You're gonna love it." And then the last quarter of the movie becomes very
Violent.
Very violent.
It turns into a horror movie.
It does. It turns into a straight up grotesque, over the top violent movie.
Yeah.
Like at a snap. Like all of a sudden the movie, this is a different movie now, and it's great. But I texted my dad right before the switch, and then I had to text him right back and be like, but it's really, really violent. You don't let mom watch it. She probably won't like it. But it was very, very good. I'm disappointed in myself for not having watched it beforehand.
I'm not trying to screw you, Nick.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, sometimes you are.
Yeah, a little
I
bit.
just recommended the Wishmaster. and Saturday, Mac and Me. We were talking about Mac and Me earlier today.
Oh my God.
I was reading the IMDb facts about the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I read was that the whole movie was made for $1.5 million, which
that's crazy.
Like a movie like that with real stars and stuff, to have that small
they must have
of a
just
budget.
signed on. Like
they must have
just pro bono, you know.
And this director's a fairly new guy, right?
Yeah, he had like one other thing in his directing credits. I do a lot of research.
It was like I
don't remember his name. I have it pulled up.
He did some, whatever he did before was kind of like horror themed.
It's S. Craig Zoller, and he also wrote it. Yeah. Oh yeah, Richard Jenkins definitely has old man makeup on in this movie.
It's thick. It's a thick coat.
My dad said that he's the old cop from Witness. Is that true? It feels like it's true.
That moment when they're in the, I think we could do spoilers at this point. It's a long.
No spoilers, no spoilers because
some people have.
Because some people.
The one thing that I really liked about this movie was
says he wasn't in Witness.
The fact that, like, not until
he may not be the old corrupt cop from Witness.
Oh, we apologize for any misinformation.
You should still watch Witness. It's great.
The one thing I really liked about it was not until I would say the last 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you never see what these like creatures look like.
Yeah.
And it's just like they're like the build up of like the dread of like what they're about to get into. And even they have no idea. Like they know they're getting into something and they're moving towards something that's like really bad, but they're like, well, we got to go save Patrick Wilson's like, I need to save my wife.
Yeah.
And Kurt Russell's like, yeah, we're going to get her back.
Of course we're going to go.
But we're pretty much like fucked. Like, because these guys are like, these things or these creatures are like crazy.
They're monsters. They're
And
They're
when you
absolute
finally do
monsters, yeah.
see what they look like, you're like, holy shit! Like,
Yeah, you almost think that like, all right, it's just a legend. They
Right.
built this up
Yeah,
way
well,
more.
because there's like a Native American guy who lives in their town, and they ask him, is like, do you know where? Because there's a spear or a arrow from a bow and arrow in the wall.
right. And
from
as soon
where
as he sees it,
and he says, oh yeah, you don't want to mess with these guys. Just consider her gone.
right?
yeah.
And then he says, yeah, they're monsters basically.
Yeah.
I'm not going with you.
Right.
I don't want anything to do with them. And the whole thing starts because these two thieves stumble into their ancient burial ground and disturb it. And I guess they follow the one thief to this small town, and I guess they kidnap the thief and the people that are with him, which are Patrick Wilson's wife and the deputy.
Right.
Mhm.
And then the movie starts. But I really thought Patrick Wilson was going to be really annoying with the broken leg, but I was with him the whole way. I'm like, you can do it, dude.
Yeah.
You can make it.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah, I remember like at points in it, I'm like, oh my God, I'm like dreading finding out what's going on to the girl. I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, like I hope,
Yeah. It gets you.
Yeah.
I hope that they haven't done anything
Yeah.
to her, you know?
Yeah, the movie really builds up a lot of looking forward to the climax of the movie, which does not disappoint.
No, not at all.
I
Yeah.
told you I've had a man crush on Kurt Russell forever, and he's
Well, it's
freaking
funny
awesome.
you
in
should
it.
say that, because I was so wrapped up in Kurt Russell's Western performance that I followed Bone Tomahawk up with Tombstone. I just rolled right into Tombstone,
Nice.
which is just a fantastic movie,
Which I've never seen.
which I can't believe.
Yeah.
You've got to watch
You
it.
know, it's just one of those things that just slipped through the cracks.
Yeah.
You guys, I don't know about you guys. It's your movies.
I mean, I think I'm pretty well
We're
versed.
picking up each other's slack.
Yeah.
Really, you know.
Well, yeah.
I'll watch Tombstone if you watch Candyland.
All right.
Sure.
Well, then you guys are going to both watch Wishmaster this week.
Right, yeah.
Then we can
But,
talk about it more in depth.
right.
Can't wait.
Yeah,
With you
with-
not even here.
Right.
Just
Tony,
tear
we
me
both
up.
watched Wishmaster this week. Yeah. Oh, by the way, Tony's coming back to the show for all you
Tony fans.
Tony fans.
Tonyites. Team Tonys.
But yeah, Bone Tomahawk. Check it out. Totally worth watching. But not for the weak of heart.
Definitely not.
But that brings us to everyone's favorite segment, Ray's Random Request.
Yes.
It's going to be a big problem next week when Tony's back with his third degree. I don't know how that's gonna
We'll fight it out.
work out. But Ray, what was last week's question?
Last week's question was, what musical act or group or singer would you like to see a movie made out of, a biopic made of, I should say, not out of.
Yeah, and we had quite a few responses from a variety of people.
Oh.
Judy says she would like to see. No, I'm gonna have to read this. She would like to see a movie of the heart-stopping, pants-dropping, hard-rocking, earth-shaking, booty. Oh wait, I messed up. I'm gonna start over.
Ric Flair?
Right. Woo! You've just seen the heart-stopping, pants-dropping, hard-rocking, earth-shocking, booty-shaking, love-making, Viagra-taking, history-making, legendary E Street Band.
Shocker.
Judy loves Bruce Springsteen and all of his friends
Yeah.
in a way that is unnatural.
But yeah, that's a pretty good
But
one.
I also love Springsteen.
You think they'll make one of Springsteen while he's alive?
I don't know.
The only thing about now, and this is we were talking to a lot of people, or I was talking to a lot of people about this question. The only thing about that is like, and I like Springsteen too, but I don't really know much about his, his coming up as becoming stardom. Like, is his story that compelling?
I don't know.
Yeah,
He's from
like-
New Jersey, but I don't know how many of his songs
Right.
are biographical or just good stories.
Right, and in they marry it.
Judy would be a great person to answer this
It
question.
may very well be a compelling story, but I just feel like you can't make a movie just about somebody just because they're famous.
Yeah.
Like they have
Well,
to have a story.
I know he
there has to be
came
a
up.
story.
He came up from nothing, and he propelled himself into it.
Right.
Like his story is compelling, which is all you need for a
Sure.
decent movie.
And he's a very, he's a polarizing figure too. So
Yeah.
Judy's actually, while she's listening to this, out loud saying, "No,
Judy's
Ray,
right. Judy's like,
no."
"You're getting it all wrong. You're getting it. I can't believe what I'm hearing."
I feel like
No, I'm just asking.
unless the singers have a drug problem at some point in their lives and overcome it,
Yeah.
Well, he's had a lot of women trouble.
then you
which is-
can't do a biopic on them.
I mean, he keeps marrying the women in his band, which leads to inevitable drama.
Yeah. Don't shit where you eat.
Right. But Ray and Charlie, what would we call the Bruce Springsteen movie or the E Street Band movie? Because it's got to have a terrible pun or
Right.
based on the song.
I mean, Born to Run would be the obvious choice.
Philadelphia.
But you could just call it The Boss.
Boss cocking. All right. Well, then Sam A says she wants to see a movie about Hall & Oates, which I cannot argue with.
Right.
Yeah,
Hall & Oates would be great because they hate each other.
I could go for that. That's a Hall & Oates joke.
Oh my god.
Oh my God.
But yeah, apparently
they can't go for that.
Apparently they hate each other.
Yeah,
And still continue to perform
because
together.
they can't do it alone.
Well, I think I could be wrong here, but I think one of them
Yeah,
stole the other one's wife or
Yeah.
girlfriend.
Basically, they did what Eric Clapton did to George Harrison,
Right.
but instead of George Harrison, like George Harrison went, "All right, whatever. I'm George Harrison. I'll be fine."
Right.
I don't know which Hall or Oates took it really personally, and they split up and tried a solo career, and it didn't work. And now they have to tour together, and they hate each other.
Yeah, but they're still making millions, so good for them.
Which
but
one?
that's a good story. That
Yeah,
right
that
there is
would
a
be-
good story.
No, that's
Yeah.
really good. Which one's the one with the mustache? Hall or Oates?
Hall.
Hall. Who would
I
play
got a
him?
50-50 shot at it.
I have no idea.
Who would play him? I want to say the guy from Community would be a good Hall.
Which guy from Community?
The Indian guy from Community, the show.
I never watched that show, so I don't know.
I couldn't get into it. I've tried a few times. I can't get into it. John Stamos is what we're saying is Hall,
Love me some John Stamos.
and Anthony Michael
Uncle Jesse?
Hall. Yeah, Jesse and the Rippers.
I mean, really, just a movie about Jesse and the Rippers would be
that would be great.
would be compelling.
And how I had Becky tore them apart.
Yeah.
Remember when they kicked Jesse out of the band?
I remember the special when they played with the Beach Boys. That was a big thing for me when I was a
Whoa,
kid.
big boys. That's what Michelle says. I used to watch a lot of Full House. Sam also says she wants to see a Britney Spears biopic, which isn't a bad.
Right. She had
bad
some
cool.
rough
She
years.
had some crazy stuff going on for a
shaving
long
her head
time.
and stuff like that. Yeah.
What would we call that movie?
I don't know enough names of
Toxic.
songs.
Just
Toxic.
toxic.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Hit
the
me,
best
baby, one more time.
Yeah, that's the one, right?
This is getting terrible.
Yeah.
Dan says a Guns N' Roses movie would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that-
they've just had so much.
Easily. That writes itself.
And then I'm giving up on that other game we were playing. And Chris says Van Halen, which
Yeah.
autocorrects to Van Galen, apparently.
Oh, that's
But Van Halen,
unfortunate.
which I'm surprised there hasn't been a Van Halen.
But I think
anything.
Charlie's right. I think a lot of these movies need to be made. A lot of people wait till somebody passes away, or
Yeah,
a
you
lot of
wait-
the members of the band are
They
gone.
wait till they die because then the story won't change anymore. You know,
right,
like,
and they don't get blowback. Like this isn't true. Blah
Yeah.
blah. You
Right.
just kind of do it, and
or you can do it the way you want. Like we were talking last week, how we're sure Dr. Dre and Ice Cube had creative control over
right.
what directions the movie went, where somebody else may have gone to the more of the darker stuff.
Right, and told maybe more of a true story.
But great answers this week.
Yeah, those are great answers.
Ray, what is this week's Ray's Random Ray Quest?
So this week's question, going along with the movie that I watched, Hell or High Water, which the main protagonists of the movie, or I guess you could say antagonists of the movie, are Chris Pine and Ben Foster, who play brothers.
Mm-hmm.
So my question this week is, who are your favorite brother duo in a movie? Or it doesn't even have to be a duo. Your favorite brothers in a movie. The one that popped into my mind, which is completely random.
Marky Mark and Four Brothers.
No, that's a good one. That's a good one. The one that popped into my mind that is just completely random is Steve Zahn and Casey Affleck from the Ocean's movies.
Oh yeah.
I
Oh no, it's
not Steve
Jake.
Zahn.
Jake, not Jake Busey. What's his name's kid?
Yeah.
Con.
Yeah, Scott Conn. Scott Conn and Casey Affleck from those movies. I just always thought they were so
They
funny.
were great, yeah.
Together. So, I mean, that's a good one. I don't know if you guys have any.
Oh,
can
brother,
you think of any
where
others?
art thou? I love that dynamic.
Yeah.
Are they brothers? I think they're brothers. Right?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Are they?
There's a group of brothers. There's two brothers in there, right?
For some reason I thought they were. No, yeah, Clooney's solo. I think the other two are brothers, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't remember. All right, well, good question, Ray.
Do you have an answer?
I'm trying to think. All I can think of right now is the Rick and Morty skit Two Brothers, which is a fake movie. Check it out on YouTube. It's very funny.
Another good one would be, have you ever seen the movie Warrior?
I haven't seen that yet.
With
the MMA
Tom
movie.
Hardy and Joel Egerton.
Mm-hmm.
That's an awesome movie.
That's what
And they play brothers, and they have to fight. End up having to fight each other at the end of the movie.
Spoiler alert.
Well, it's not really a spoiler alert.
That's
That's an awesome movie, though.
yeah, it is. The guy who did that movie,
Gavin O'Connor.
he did Miracle, right?
Yes.
Hockey movie.
Yes.
Did you know that we are connected to these movies?
How?
Because the assistant director of Miracle got so mad at the director that he branched out and did a little movie called Mighty Max on his own. And
Which I've never seen.
John Rizzo.
I've seen one scene of it many
times.
many times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
So
that
that's
film.
a little connection for you. There you go.
That's a good one.
That's cool.
There you are.
All right. Well, Charlie, plugs.
Boy Zero. If you haven't
last
heard of
time.
it, yeah. It's in November. It's going to be available in local comic book stores. So go to your comic book store and say, I need, if you don't see it on the shelf, say, I want a copy of Boy Zero Stat. And they should have it for you pretty quickly.
What
Besides,
does stat mean?
Right now.
right now, yeah, quickly.
No, but you mean like what does it stand?
Yeah, like is it an acronym or something? Or?
I don't know.
I don't know. That sounds like a surgeon question.
That's Nick's needless. Whatever.
And since I won't get to promote it for a little bit, I got another book coming out called Filthy Godless Heathens.
A new book
A new book
by the author of Boy Zero.
by the by the author of Boy Zero and the artist of Boy Zero. That'll be coming out sometime over the next 6 months, I would say.
Awesome. That's great.
A lot going on.
Hustling.
Ray, anything to plug?
No, I got nothing to plug.
All right.
As always, just happy to be here.
I would like to say, if you've been listening to us on the Podcast Radio Network, thank you for tuning in. If you're interested in the Podcast Radio Network, it's every evening they play a bunch of podcasts. Every day, we're on every Wednesday night at 10:30. We have a great lead-in from the show Let's Talk Flicks. It's a very funny show, and you can listen to it on podcastradionetwork.net, or you can get the Crikey app.
Crikey.
Crikey. I think it's Crikey. I should ask, but this is more annoying.
Yeah, I figured at this point you would have done your research to find
No.
out.
Well, I mean, I have the app, so I don't need to look for it again.
You just spell it.
If you go to podcastradionetwork.net, there's a link to the app.
Mhm.
KRY. Good call, Ray. And if you're interested in following us or catching up on our past episodes, you can find us on SoundCloud, YouTube, Facebook. Well, that's where our things are. But also you can connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, Stitcher, iTunes, where you can rate, review, subscribe to the show, Google Play Music, everything. And check us out on thisweekinfilmpodcast.com. Send us a message. Tell us you're out there. If there's something you want us to watch, maybe we will.
I would love some recommendations.
Yeah, me too.
We've had a couple, but they've been so bad that we just haven't listened.
We're gonna get to that
them.
fifth wave episode.
Yeah.
And
Reluctantly, for sure.
I guess if that's the end of the reel,
I have one advice for Tony when he takes over. If you're going to play the game, guess what movie I watched? Make sure the other guys have watched it.
we'll see you next week in film.
Later.
See ya.